The name of this story is called Parental Justice. Many people know me as Whoopi Goldberg, the comedian, but few know my work, what I've done, though, as Whoopi Goldberg, the mother. One night when my daughter was maybe 13 or 14, she came downstairs and she told me she was going out, and it was none of my business where she was going. I looked this child over, this little version of me. She was wearing 3 pieces of cloth. The cloth itself was all shiny and nice and fine, but it wasn't covering enough to suit a mother. It wasn't even close. It was probably against the law in some states to go out looking like she wanted to go out looking. Okay, in my time, I wore a mini so small that all I needed to do was sneeze and you would have known exactly what color my panties were. But here was my barely teenage daughter looking like a grown woman, dressed like Madonna used to dress, and I just completely flipped. Before my mother could come out of my mouth, she was in my ear. I heard her chuckling in the corner, laughing at me over the way our situation had turned out. This was parental justice. Her laugh took me back, and I got angry. "Why are you laughing?" I shot back. "Because it's funny," she said. "Because it's funny to see you like this now." Funny? I'm trying to explain to this child that she can't go out looking like this. She can't go out looking like this because you don't know what invitation someone is going to pick up from this. That line, "You don't know what invitation someone is going to pick up from this," was one of my mother's, and I wanted to take it right back as soon as I'd said it. My mother looked over at me and smiled, and at first I tried not to smile back, but it was too late. I had to smile too. It wasn't one of those let me laugh along with you kind of smiles, or one of those gee, ain't we funny kind of smiles, but the kind of smile that comes from knowing. I got it. Finally, I understood. It was a smile of recognition and maybe a little surrender. I reconnected to everything that had passed between us, and I could see what was coming. I wanted to tell my mother how sorry I was for putting her through all of those motions, for not recognizing that she had something to offer beyond what I could see. But she knew, and she smiled back at me, and she knew. I turned to my kid and I said, "You know what? Go out. Just go ahead. Go out." And she did. She looked at me kind of funny, kind of suspicious, but she went out like she had planned. And then she came back about 20 minutes later. "You know what?" she said. "It's cold out there. I think I'm gonna put on some more clothes. I need to change." As it happens, it takes time. I watch now as my daughter goes through it for herself with her own kids, and I try not to chuckle. I know someday she'll hear me coming out of her mouth, and she'll look over with one of those knowing smiles and start to laugh, because we all get it eventually. So that's a good short story about Whoopi Goldberg and her mom and her daughter and the generations, and how things, even though they change, they're pretty much the same most of the time. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll get some more of these stories online on the Avenidas YouTube channel. Bye for now.